Have you ever fallen in love so deeply it felt like the world paused just to watch you? Like the stars aligned, the wind hushed, and even time held its breath. Now imagine that love wasn't human. In the heart of a quiet valley where the air is always cool and the moonlight reflects like silver on the leaves, there lived a girl named Adaeze. She wasn't the kind of beauty that turns heads in the market. No, she was the kind that grows on you, like ivy on a wall, graceful, gentle, rooted. She spent her days weaving baskets and whispering to birds. She never expected to be noticed by anyone, much less by a stranger whose eyes gleamed like morning dew and whose voice carried the weight of old songs. But the festival of lanterns changed everything. One evening, under 1,000 floating lights and the scent of roasted maize and hibiscus wine, Adaeze danced, and so did he. This man with no name, no past, and no shadow. They moved like twin flames. He held her like he already knew her story. She smiled like she was finally seen. But every night, when the lanterns dimmed and the music faded, he vanished. Where did he go? Why did no one else notice how he slipped away? What secrets was he hiding behind those eyes that flickered like candlelight? This isn't just a love story, it's a story of trust, of discovery, of what it means to love someone whose truth might shatter your own. Stay with me because this story will stay with you. In the village of Umudim, every 7th moon, the villagers held the festival of lanterns. They believe it brought peace to the spirits and warmth to the living. It was a time of music, food, fireflies, and glowing silk lanterns floating into the heavens like drifting souls. Adaeze always watched from the edges. She never danced, never joined. Her parents had long passed, and she lived alone in a hut wrapped in vines and silence. She spoke more to birds than to people. But that year, everything changed. A stranger arrived, not from the forest path or across the river. He simply appeared. His clothes shimmered like river water. His eyes were like polished obsidian. When he moved, the air followed. When he laughed, it echoed like a song sung long ago. He walked straight to Adaeze and asked, "Will you dance with me?" She wanted to say no, but her heart said yes before her lips could. They danced all night. He told her stories that felt older than time. She felt safe with him, seen and loved. He returned every night for 7 nights. They spoke of dreams, stars, the smell of mango trees, and things she had never told anyone. But each night, as the last lantern flickered and faded, he whispered, "I must go," and vanished into the wind. Adaeze began to wonder, where did he go? Who was he? On the 8th night, she followed. She stayed far behind as he glided through the trees. He didn't walk, he floated. The wind carried him towards an ancient grove where no villagers dared to enter. She hid behind a tree, heart pounding, as he approached a massive Iroko tree. As he touched it, his body shimmered, twisted, and then vanished into mist that climbed the bark as smoke. She gasped. A dry twig snapped under her foot. The tree paused, and a wind rushed through the grove, whispering in languages she didn't know. And then a voice, his voice, "Adeze, you shouldn't have come." Tears rolled down her eyes. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked. "I wanted to," he said. "But would you have danced with me if you knew I wasn't like you?" "I still would," she whispered. He stepped out of the mist, only half formed, fading already. "Now that you have seen me, I can no longer stay. The spirit world forbids us to be loved by the living, once discovered." She reached for him, but her hands met only wind. The next morning, all that remained in the grove was a single silver threaded scarf, the one he had always worn. There are people who come into our lives like whispers, gentle, mysterious, beautiful. Sometimes we fall in love with their presence before we understand their truth. But true love is not just the magic of connection, it's the courage of knowing and accepting the full story. Not just the parts that dance, but also the parts that disappear when the light goes out. Adeze loved with an open heart, and though her love ended in sorrow, it was never wasted. She learned that love cannot trap what was never meant to stay, and we must ask ourselves, do we love people as they are, or just the parts they allowed us to see? Now, I want to hear from you. If you discovered that the person you loved wasn't of this world, maybe a spirit, maybe something not entirely human, would you still love them? Would you stay, or would you walk away to protect your heart? Would you chase a love that defies logic, or let go of something your soul deeply longs for? Comment below and tell me your heart's truth. Use the hashtag #Folktales if you are sharing your own version of the story. And here is a challenge. Tag someone and ask, would you marry a spirit if they loved you with everything they had? Let's see what your friends say. And finally, if you ever had a love that felt otherworldly, something you still can't explain, share it in the comments. You never know who might relate.